well as in January 4th, 2016 meeting. From there, then we brought it to the City Commission at a workshop on February 8th, 2016 to talk about the topic based on Parks and Rec's discussions. You then decided to move forward with having some further discussions on the topic. We then had a regular meeting on February 22nd, as well as March 14th, at that meeting you provided direction on the parks that you would like to see smoking prohibited. From that point, staff then worked with the city attorney to draft the ordinances before you this evening. And with that, we can open the comments to the public, and then we have discussion about the ordinance. And then tonight is just discussion of the first review of the ordinance, no action. By charter, we have to wait until a future meeting to take any formal action.
Hey, Michael, we anticipate bringing this back at the next meeting, depending on how the discussion goes.
Right. We haven't determined, what meeting we're going back yet. Depends on the direction of the discussion and what the wishes of the commission are. The ordinance isn't finalized. Attorney Dean is here, so he can talk about it. But there are changes that are needed. That's the will of the commission.
Thank you. And I'll just remind everyone that comes up to speak, just request that you remove the microphone from the stand and hold it right up to your lips so that all the people at home or listening on the internet can hear your comments. Thank you. Any public comment? Mr. Massey? Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, please.
I'm back again. But number one, Michael, I was reading your letter that you sent out. And on here it says on these dates, February 22nd, March 14th, and also a public hearing was held on May 23rd. I think today's the 23rd, I'm not sure. So I'm not sure. Nobody said anything, but we didn't get the meeting. It's not been dead by time. All right, I looked at this setup here. You listed the parks that there's not going to be any smoking in it. Downtown Park, Downtown Art Park, Mount Poplar Park, Walker Park, the Rotary Skate Park, there's an Archwood Lake Field, Kensington Park, the Lake of Air Park, Longmore Park, Memorial Park, and Paris Park. So then I asked for this, all the parks, so we know what parks we're going to have smoking. Curry Park, Kiwanis Top Lot, which I went up and found out is by the Randall Field. I don't know if that's where the kids are clear or not, but that's up there. Randall Field, the Snowmobile ATV, the Municipal Memorial Building, which is this building. So I brought a cigarette with me. I corrected, I'm going to correct Karen. She said there's a sign outside that says no smoking in this building. When I left this building, there's a sign as you exit the back door that says no smoking. When you're coming in, there's no sign that says no smoking. Karen says that's all municipalities in Michigan. Not all of us wouldn't hear that right. How would I know there's no smoking here? No sign out there. So we can smoke here, at down Civic Center, and outside. Well, let's keep it apart, but I don't have to worry about that. That was over by XL Energy, and now that, I guess I told Jim just knocking down everything. The other one is Miners Memorial Heritage Park. Now, the school owns a piece of property on Miners Memorial. I've talked to some of the school board members, and allegedly, there's a sign up that says there's no smoking. There's no smoking in any school property. If there is going to be allowed smoking there, then the high school is going to allow them to smoke there, or a school suites, or whatever school you want. So all you can determine that from one end or the other, I don't know. This is my concern, and I said it before. I honestly feel, and I've talked to Mr. Milton, I've talked to Kim, and I've talked to Meg, I've talked to her after the last meeting. My concern is the majority of this commission honestly feels that the residents of the city of Ironwood aren't very intelligent. Okay? Because you can listen to a word I said. None of the three. And I didn't get a chance to talk to him when he was down when it started. Just stayed out of it. I said, I honestly feel, and I don't care when you're not taking the parks, but I honestly feel that the people who do smoke, I can understand that the non-smokers may not want them around, and that's fine. But why can't you do what I asked? Why can't we give it a trial period of 2 months, 1 month, 3 months, whatever you see fit? Put up a section in the corner of Longyear Park that says smoking only. Violators will be subject to whatever you decide to fine, $50, $100, $200. I don't care, that's your decision. But you can't just go around and decide who's going to smoke and who's not going to smoke. You don't have that right. Because some years ago, smoking drank like kids. Now you don't. Now you don't. Yeah, but you did that. What right do you have to take it away from somebody else? Unless they can't decide what you said. We should have a table, a picnic table, with big barrels, whatever you want to buy, with your desk, like you put the butts up. Anybody that's sitting in there, including me, if I was sitting over by the kids smoking, and Gary Cruz are down, those two that I know good here. If they came by and said, "Oh, she wants smoking," I don't listen to her. I don't want to sign up. She has no business smoking all the kids. That's fine. Because whatever you do, there's always a consequence to follow. This is a city ordinance. The state ordinance has us posted, no smoking, have it posted outside the door. All restaurants, all bars. There's also a state ordinance that says no alcohol beverages on public property. Public property includes field. Can't drink there. They can be fenced off from the North Club. Can't drink outside that field or in that field. Little fence at the North Club, East Club. Can't drink in the people. Anybody playing volleyball, senior citizens, middle-aged people, whatever you want. They can't drink there either. They can't drink down there. Miners Memorial Park. And then what message are you sending to the kids? We don't trust you? We've only got a few police officers. If they're patrolling at night, I'd be willing to bet on maybe one, possibly two that are on duty. So what you're telling the kids is, and adults, and middle-aged people, go down to Miners Memorial, and maybe Rick knows, what is it, a mile, 2 miles long, Miners Memorial? I don't know. From beginning to end. What you're telling the kids is you can smoke down there. So you can smoke down there, but you're not going to get caught. We're not going to have ashtrays for it. You can drink down there. You can do drugs down there. Or you can have sex down there because the cop is down there patrolling. Or 2 cops are down there patrolling. Who the hell is patrolling the city of Ironwood? So stop and think of what you're doing before you do it. That's what I'm asking. Because I will take it. I'm not going to ask the city to enforce the state law. I'll ask the state police to come in and enforce the state law. You want to spoil it for everybody? You go right ahead. I'm asking, as the next commissioner, and as a person that wants to see us move forward and not have a bunch of problems in the city, please, think about putting smoking sections in every park and have somebody like it. Unless Miners Memorial, that I'm on patrol that area. You're going to have to go down about 9 nights, spend the night there. That makes no sense to me. So that's all I'm asking.
Thank you. Sam?
I'm in favor of the parks being non-smoking, what you're trying to do. And I think that sometime in the future you should make all the city parks. We are not inventing a wheel here. All the parks in New York City are non-smoking. All the parks in Chicago are non-smoking. Almost every major city, not only are the parks, beaches, everywhere in the city is non-smoking. I'm not recommending we take away a person's right to smoke. That's what I'd like to enforce my right and every other person's right that doesn't smoke to not have to put out secondhand smoke, which is not good for my health, it's not good for children's health, and so on. Plus, the litter. When did it become fashionable for people that smoke to take the cigarette butts and just flick them on the ground everywhere? We were at the Miners Park, at the People Park, cleaned up all the cigarette butts on the cleanup day of that park in the trail, and it's covered in cigarette butts again. And it's ugly, little kids pick them up, put them in bowls, it's like, it's terrible. And I hope you do the right thing and make the parks non-smoking. And some parts they follow the non-smoking. Parks non-smokers don't have to put up that secondhand smoke. It's bad for our health, and it's a proven fact. It's just not something made up. It is bad for our health. Thank you.
I forgot to mention, if you could state your address. Sam, what's your address? Just for the record.
1215 East Margaret Street.
Thank you. Any further public comment, Mr. True?
214 West Ridge Street, City, Ironwood. Following up on what Lee said, I'd like to see the city commission take a look at giving smokers a little more persuasion, a little more chance. Containers, suitable tobacco products here and there as appropriate. Generous use of the word please. Thank you. Perhaps in the temple area, 2 or 3 syllables, tobacco receptacles might be adequate. Let's see what will happen. He's also brought up, I'll not repeat what she said, but the issue of enforcement at some point in time becomes a natty little thing. Basically, let's give the soft sell a little more chance. By providing opportunity, recognition, and growth. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Sim?
I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of Spirus. I passed these out because I want to talk very briefly about sort of what the impact of smoking is specifically in the area where we live in. Very recently, in fact, last week, the Western UP Health Department released this. Health needs assessment. It covers all 6 Western UP counties, along with 4 northeastern counties within Wisconsin. We did a 1,500-person survey with a 95% confidence interval. So we have a very good representation of what the health of Ogilvie County looks like. Much better than you get from anecdotes. Smoking nationwide, 480,000 deaths from people directly who smoke. 41,000, the number of U.S. deaths each year due to infection and secondhand smoke. 300 billion is the cost of smoking-related illness each year. There's almost 100 billion due to productivity increases from people taking time out for smoking breaks, which they are legally allowed to do, but productivity and all kinds of burden on the healthcare system. In Ogilvie County, we have a very high rate of smoking here. 25%, 1 in 4 is the proportion of adults that currently smoke. If you take the Michigan average, 21%, we are the highest in the Western UP. 28.3% the proportion of 18 to 39-year-olds that currently smoke in the Western UP. For those that think that smoking is dead, it's not. It is very much a problem and an issue. One of the scariest numbers that we found, 34%. That's the percent of births to mothers who smoke or pregnant. And we stand here today encouraging smoking and talking about allowing smoking in parks where people do not, for the most part, have an expectation of breathing in secondhand smoke. We often hear that smoke ban will stifle economic growth. That's not the case. They did a 2013 study of 9 states, New York and whatnot, expecting that there would be an adverse economic impact. That was not the case. There is no economic impact on banning smoking all the way across the board. In fact, they found a small economic benefit because employees want to work in smoke-free places. Smoke-free laws make good sense. They improve health, save lives, increase productivity, and reduce healthcare costs. So we not only agree with what the smoking ban says, we propose that you go even further, that you eliminate smoking in all public parks. There's no reason not to. Why have ashtrays? Why encourage it? That is not promoting a healthy community, which is one of the building blocks of what the city of Ironwood is trying to promote and come across as.
So we propose using the California model that we ban the use of tobacco products of smoke and electronic smoking devices, multi-resident common areas, public places, recreation areas, public places where there's a public event, like why are we promoting smoking at places like Festival Ironwood? Well, that's going on. You have hundreds of people around, yeah, it's perfectly okay to smoke wherever you like. And then litter your smoke butts everywhere.
So we propose that.
So we propose that require no smoking signs be posted, and then we prohibit ash cans and ashtrays that we replace within an area where smoking is not
Shouldn't encourage it.
Shouldn't encourage it, we shouldn't allow it. At least, I personally believe in that, and on behalf of the hospital, that's sort of what we stand for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Shoot.
Because the current language of the ordinance doesn't include electronic smoking devices. Could you comment on that?
Yes, people seem to believe that just because you're using electronic cigarettes and out comes vapor, doesn't mean that there's non-exposure to secondhand smoke. That is incorrect. And it's still, secondhand smoke is still a byproduct of that, as well as, again, you're promoting the smoking act, and that means encouraging or habit. I guess that's the best way to put it. That was starting through it. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary Coos, 227 Distribution Avenue. Gary pretty much knows me here. Police officer for 30 years. I cannot see enacting a law or ordinance that is so hard to enforce. Pocket park. What's the difference between a pocket park, standing on the sidewalk and smoking? How do you enforce that? Which is, you're 3 feet away from that person, so that person on the sidewalk's okay with the person in the park. I see the law is unenforceable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Grabovich?
Paul Grabovich, 1221 East Leonard. I'll say I'm a non-smoker, and smoking, it's a dirty, nasty habit. But this is outside. This ordinance, like Gary says, it is not going to be, it's unenforceable. I mean, our police department has better things to do than chase these kids down the road and, they're smoking cigarettes. I mean, the meth problem, what they're doing to all the illegal drugs, that's a bigger problem than this. And do it in all parts. Every part we have campfires, and every part we have campfires. I mean, there's smoke there too. You can ban campfires. It's the same thing as a cigarette. There's smoke coming off of a cigarette. Another thing is, this guy's on his phone. Somebody's down here in Norrie Park smoking cigarettes. So we're down at the Depot Park. There's some way, I don't know exactly how this 911 system works, the phone system. So this old lady, she got one of these meth heads breaking into her house. And the phone just keeping on ringing because this guy's complaining about somebody smoking in the park. I mean, I thought we lived in a democracy. I mean, this is communist rule. This non-smoking deal. This is public property, everybody, it belongs to everybody. Just do this. I mean, by the playground equipment, I can understand that. Get away from the playground. If you want to smoke, go over there and smoke. That's fine. Not the whole parks. Just have a designated area, because you are outside. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? This time we'll close the public hearing. And I call the regular City Commission meeting to order. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Those that did speak at the public hearing, I thank you for coming and voicing your opinions and caring about our city. Recording of the roll, please.
All present?
Item C, approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Towers, seconded by Commissioner Semo to approve the consent agenda as presented. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Milgren?
Yes.
Semo?
Yes.
Tower?
Yes.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Virgil?
Yes. Motion carries. Item D, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Corcoran, seconded by Commissioner Mildren to approve the agenda as presented. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, approval of the monthly check register report.
No presentation. Paul is not here today. The report
Okay.
is included in your packet. As you'll note, there's more detail in the reports now, so hopefully that would answer any questions you might have. If you do have any questions, we can follow up on it.
Make a motion to approve the monthly check register report.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Towers, seconded by Commissioner Mildren to approve the monthly check register report. Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Mildren?
Yes.
Semo?
Yes.
Tower?
Yes.
Virgil?
Yes. Motion carries. Item F, we welcome citizens wishing to address the commission on the items on the agenda. So any items that we're going to discuss further, does anybody want to comment? This would be the time to comment. No? Okay. Moving on to item G, citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda. Mr. Grabovich?
Paul Grabovich, 1221 East Leonard. And I'm going to talk about my two favorite streets again, Celia and Florence and 1,000 block. They did a little work on Celia Street, but look, there's no way it can be done. Culvert is still the highest point of Celia Street. They're trying to make water run uphill. I mean, about halfway down on the gravel part of Celia Street on the south side, the road is lower than the surrounding, than the swamp area. There's never, I mean, the DEQ's never gonna let you develop that area, but the swamp that's there, with the wetlands. I mean, the road needs a lot more gravel. It needs more gravel. That road is not done. And with Florence Street, the gravel, that's where the blacktop has to go. That road that needs blacktop on it. Then the road is done. They're complete. Then you're not gonna hear me harping anymore. They'll keep my mouth shut about it. These roads are not done. And the thing is, like I always say, how can 99.9% of the people come be wrong? The people that work in the construction zone, they agree. Those roads are not done right. I mean, everybody talks right. Those roads are not done right. And yet, Scott Erickson has yet to say, hey, all that we're here saying, we made a mistake on these roads. We need to fix them, right. But Scott Erickson is not saying that the mistake was made. He's just giving excuse. And these fixes, they're just band-aid fixes. These roads need to be fixed right. And if you as a commission, I'm still waiting for a knock on a door and a phone call, and say, come on, let's take a look at these streets. What are you talking about? I'm still waiting for that. That's been hard. No phone calls, no knock on the door.
I called you this morning and left a voice message.
It wasn't there. I'm sorry, but thank you if you did anyway. Thank you. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say. But those streets have to be fixed, and they need to be fixed right. Harping until these streets are done right. And we're being on these streets for a long time. It's a 40-year no. 40 years. That's a long time to be on these streets. They should be done right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is it a 10-year note on the streets?
It is a 40-year bond.
It is a 40-year, okay. All right, any other citizens wishing, Mr. Martel?
Martel, 420 West Lancaster Street. I I was wondering, back in February, you took out approximately $400,000 from your deep freeze fund. You took it out at the water break activities fund, and we were told this money was going to be paid back in March. So I was wondering if that money was paid back into that account. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda? Ms. Demasi.
I have a question for Scott and Scott Richards. Andrew did quite a bit of work and sunk a lot of money into the tennis courts. Okay, and for a couple of years there, we were supposed to put something around the edge of it. I'm not the engineer here. Okay, and we put that off last year because we ran into winter. And we wouldn't dry, or cement wouldn't dry, or adhere to the bottom, or where it was supposed to go. Now we put it on for the spring. Approaching the end of May. When will that be done? Because even some 35,000 are doing it, didn't charge the city a penny for it, to redo those tennis courts. So what do you have scheduled for?
Just to give you an update on the tennis courts, last fall, there was a concrete edge put around the tennis courts, and it was re-landscaped, so that's completed. Action Floors is going to come and resurface the tennis courts, and they're waiting for the temperatures to get where it's at least above 50 degrees at night. So we're probably getting to the point where they're able to mobilize in, but they've been kind of waiting for that point. Yeah, our end is done, yeah, yes. So it's just waiting for the right temperatures so they can apply that surface coating, so.
That was a first court that they had put up on there, so maybe they had a learning curve to go through on the type of base and so forth to deal with. So, from talking with some of the people who were putting that new surface on, over the blacktop or over the concrete or whatever, they'd be able to do a learning curve during the hard way. Type of base to have, type of playing surface. Tennis players are playing now on the thing, the comment is that's the background. Still about science on that.
Okay, thank you. Any other citizens wishing to address the commission? Moving on to new business. Item H, discuss and consider approval of resolution number 016-010, establishing single-track mountain bike trails on Mount Zion.
Thank you. Before this evening is a resolution regarding establishing some track on the bike trail on Mount Zion. Actually, we do have my knowledge for you, and talk about what's going on in Michigan, the Western Michigan Bike Club is making this request. They're the ones that would be looking at establishing and developing, maintaining these bike tracks up at the top of Mount Zion. Parks and Recreation Committee reviewed this request, recommended approval. Actually, representatives from the group are here this evening to give you a little more insight on what they're doing. Again, my memo outlines consistency with the capital plan, and the resolution is before you, similar to previous resolutions regarding establishment of Lions Park and establishment of more Lions trails from last fall. So with that, I will turn it over to the representatives to give you a little more background on what's going on.
Hi there, Paul Anderson, 1121 East Margaret Street. The Michigan Western Bike Club is developing trails in the community area out at Copper Peak. We got about 5 to 6 miles of trail out of Copper Peak. Then trying to revitalize some of the trails out of Wolverine recently. And then also there's been some trail building out on Mount Zion last fall and the last spring here so far. And we're here to try and formalize the agreement. There's been talks with city staff about building the trails on Mount Zion, but we'd like to formalize the approval process of those trails so that it's approved and documented, and then our organization is getting insurance for our trail builders aspect of the liability of building the trails, the trail builders, and I guess we're here, we do have a plan of, there's just one trail built right now as you go up paved road to Mount Zion, off to the left-hand side to the northwest side of Mount Zion. There's just one small trail there now, but we'd like to expand that trail network. And we're also talking with the college and want to formalize an agreement with them as well. And as time goes on, further develop these trails so that we have an in-town riding option here for mountain biking. And try to have a variety of beginner trails to intermediate to possibly expert trails at some point, but trying to keep them beginner to intermediate for starting point, and do a good job of developing them. And so we're looking for your permission to do so, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Firstly, I'd like to thank you all for your hard work and dedication, and yes, just to expand this wonderful recreational opportunity for our residents and visitors. Any questions?
Sure, just that Mount Zion is beautiful. It's mature oaks and a lot of open area underneath bigger trees. So would it be allowable that people could also walk those trails as they're?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, good.
Yep. Mainly just brushing, it wouldn't be cutting any large timbers, working around the large trees that are there, and just brushing small stuff that would be cutting large trees.
So is the Western Michigan Bike Club, is that your organization? Are you going to be?
So yeah, we are attending the meeting at SISU tonight as well to formally become part of SISU. We've been operating under SISU's kind of wing, their financial institution. Our checking account is through the SISU organization. And so tonight they're talking about that further. This insurance policy that we're getting is going to be through SISU. We're looking to become the SISU Dirt Crew. It's going to be our name once adopted officially. So
The SISU what?
the SISU Dirt Crew.
Dirt.
Yeah, so we have a committee, a subcommittee within SISU, and the theory there is to kind of pool our resources. We have a lot of similar people working on similar type of community events. So try to pool our resources, for people and then also for insurance reasons. And so that's so right now I believe the resolution that you have in front of you tonight is Michigan Western Bike Club, or future names that we may operate under. That name may be SISU Corporation or whatever. Yeah.
And since I'm on the SISU board, that's kind of where I was going with this, because if we say yes to the Western Michigan Bike Club, are we saying yes to the SISU Dirt Crew? That's a little bit fuzzy there.
The resolution.
Right. And my other question is, what are we really saying yes to when if we say yes to this resolution? We're still going to have some final approval on a final plan, I'm hoping.
Yeah, so there is a plan. It's on the screen. Yeah. So this is kind of a schematic layout of the trails right now. We've been developing this red trail so far off to the west of the access road. And as we lay out trails in the future, we're willing to work with city staff on whatever you think would be appropriate. We typically would go out and flag the route and make sure the city's on board with the route, to make sure there's no conflicts with any other plans that may be out there. Doing so with the city and or the college or both. So open for discussion and interpretation of how we want to set that up.
Do you have a guess as to what percentage of the property is city and or college?
So I believe, I'll see the screen here. The
Right.
green parcel here is the city's.
Okay.
So it breaks down to the eastern portion, kind of the lower portion of Mount Zion is the college. But bulk of it being the city property.
Mm-hmm. And how are you going to verify the safety of the courses that you lay out? Are you working with any other organizations? I mean, how do we know that these trails are going to be safe?
So we're, generally following, trying our best to follow the International Mountain Biking Association standards for trail building and laying out trails so that they're not, all too steep or, but there is, there is inherent, a biking, whether you're on a paved trail or you're on a single track mountain bike trail, there is risk involved with that sport. And so I guess it would be similar risk as to the trails that, other places in the city.
Is there an organization like IMBA that looks at trails and says these meet our specifications? Is there any kind of blessing you can get from anybody? Is that a decent question?
It was the national like standard. They actually have 2 books. I believe you guys have a book somewhere in the city that we came up 3-4 years ago from a trail building class someone was attended. There is another trail class coming up. We recommend more members to go, and that's in July. Basically, they have a standard, and basically it's a standard for climb, pitch, and bench. And the mean by bench is what you cut it from both sides. So you're trying to keep the path in so wide with a certain pitch. Basically, a lot of what they push for safety is also towards water damage. You don't want erosion. So that's the biggest thing with almost everything they build in trail building is water damage. If you build it that's sustainable, if the water runs off it, water doesn't run down it, you don't get the ruts, you don't get the rocks, you don't have the apparent risk that comes with just going through and breaking something in the woods. So there's safety standards based on that. When IMBA started doing the whole IMBA standard, I think it came out in late 70s, early 80s, and now everyone's adopting it when they start building trails. Everyone goes by the international mountain bike standards on how to build the trails. You see the Forest Service start to use it more, and anyone that's building any of trails is trying to follow it because they want to build the trail and make it last. And yes, also the safety part of being into it is all taken accommodation when they started building it. Can I answer your question?
Yeah, it does, definitely. I have a question for Scott on this. From a city standpoint, our liability, how's our liability? What is our exposure as a city to trails that are built on our property?
And again, with different efforts around town, we've had discussions with our insurance carriers on relative to city property. And again, what our understanding is, the city is covered under our insurance. It sounds like these gentlemen are still pursuing insurance above and beyond that. I was going to ask if there's the intent to have us as additional insured. I know it's been discussed. I don't know if that's...
That's the process with us going through the system. We're trying to get insurance on. It's the same thing that we're having problems with issues with Copper Peak and their legal staffs and the same thing. It's like we have to be covered also. Being covered as being an organization and also being the developer and builder. So that's what we're looking at insurance to get us covered. So that's the big concern on the insurance with us.
And once we have a policy in hand, we would be able to get the city listed as an additionally insured and get a certificate,
So that usually provides another level of coverage. We have our city coverage over all city properties that we own. So we're covered from that standpoint through our insurance. This would be another layer of insurance. And feel free to jump in if you have any other thoughts on it, Tim.
No, in general, the city's removing liability for all tours unless there's a specific exception. So you're getting 3 layers of coverage.
And if there were special events that were like mountain bike related, kind of like Sisu, that you would apply for event insurance potentially?
Typically, the event does that.
Okay.
They typically want to do that if they have a larger event.
Okay.
And they apply for their insurance to cover themselves as the event organizer.
Okay.
So that's pretty standard for a larger scale event. There's a lot of small events that occur that they don't get special insurance for that are in our parks. But the larger events, typically, you'll see they'll get additional coverage for those events specifically.
Okay.
So were we to approve this resolution, this group would be able to, at that point, just move forward with this plan, create these trails, or would there be another part of the process where they'd submit some more detail, or where would we be at with this?
I guess to be at the comfort level of the city commission, Again, with the trail building, I've seen what they've done, what you've done in other areas. They've done a very good job. They have a nice track record, I'll just say that, for some of the things they've been working on in other areas. To the level of if you wanted to come back to a process, or you want city staff to review what they're proposing prior to going forward, I'm comfortable with any one of those, depends on your comfort level to have them move forward. Again, they've been very cognizant of, fitting these trails in, so they fit in with the lay of the land, they go around structures and trees and, that type of thing. So I think they're very land-friendly when they do them, but I guess that's a point of discussion, what level would you be
And could I just
comfortable
ask you to speak to the sport in general regionally, like what the development of similar trails in various communities within like 100 miles or so, and the growing popularity, just to inform us?
Yeah, there's a pretty large mountain biking movement going on, I would say, in the last decade or so. There's, within a 2-hour radius of here, there's, a very, very large selection, for Duluth has a couple of 100 miles of single track mountain bike trails. Hayward, Cable area, a very large network. Ashland is part of the Canvas system as well, with some trails up by Mount Asher Bay. We have Windman down in the Twitch Waters area, Winchester, Copper Harbor to our north, and Marquette, and kind of the list goes on and on. There's a really big movement. So, the purpose of building mountain bike trails in this area is to try and get the people that are coming through our area, tourist dollars, to go out to these other places to make our region a stop on their tour of the mountain biking in the region. And there's very economic impact when these people are coming in and spending money. They're staying in hotels and eating meals and going to grocery stores and going to campgrounds, what have you. So there is economic development in this as well, and this betterment, and also attracting professionals to the community, making it an asset that young professionals and people of all ages, for that matter, will enjoy to have at their fingertips if they are to move to the area. So I guess kind of all of those things. We want to be a tourist stop. We want to build it for our own people, and just bettering the community.
And one thing, if you could address it, I think that the youth in our community, because some people have the opportunity to drive long distances and recreate, but others don't. And I think that would be a great starting point for some of the youth to get into the sport of mountain biking. And it's not an expensive sport if you have a facility right here in town.
There's, besides the places I mentioned around town, with Copper Peak, Wolverine, Mount Zion, there is also plans to work with Minor Memorial Park Convention as well, and, develop trails at that location, and, just maximizing our potential. We have the terrain here, and we just want that to be the long-term goals, to have trails be one of our many assets.
Have you studied any concept of a link to the Ironwood Trail from Mount Zion?
This would be on the road network.
Looked at several possibilities. Actually, I had a small discussion with Tom Sneller. He owns a piece of property by the hospital. And we talked about trying to link the Iron Bell Trail to the hospital, which will link us to the Wolverine Trail system. And there's a section there that's actually high and dry enough that we talked to Tom about possibly getting access to his property for us to make a single track mountain bike trail through his property to the highway so they can get to the hospital off the Iron Bell Trail. So we looked at that. Waitfield's also approached us in the recent weeks that they have a piece of land and they want us to build trails on Wakefield because they have a group of younger kids running around on bikes and there's no mountain bike trails. They're running down the Winchester 20-some miles to a 100 man all the time. So they want to start something going there, and they have a group that's interested in doing it. They're part of our thing to look at helping them and getting them going, and hopefully they can get another trail crew going, possibly that they can start building theirs down there also.
Thank you. With that, I'd like to make the motion to approve resolution number 016-0110, establishing single track mountain bike trails in Mount Zion.
Support. Support. And I'd just like to add too that, like Paul had mentioned, this is another great activity to bring people to our area. It's a great concept. And I do want to thank you, again, it's another example of the things that volunteers do in our community.
The thing that really made us kind of push it is we had someone build, we talked to some people, city officials, and I see some of those posts on Facebook going, I want to thank whoever built the nice running trail in Mount Zion. It's like, we should really make sure this is official before we go more. Pushing everyone towards it.
Do you have it flagged at all, what you're proposing here?
Part of it is flagged. The red trail going up was flagged to a point. We just kind of stopped on it for now because Wolverine asked for some more assistance on helping them with some of their trail and fixing it. And so we've been kind of stopped, and we're going to actually go back and look at some more, getting some more of it flagged. They get a rope to the top of the red trail. It's kind of like one of the things we'd like to try doing hopefully by the end of the summer.
Well, I think it's a great project, and thank you guys.
The thing about Mount Zion is there's great outlooks, and as much as people like good trail, they like the views, they like the vistas, they like to see that stuff. It's more of an experience. The more experience you can add to something, the better it is. And we did it because every time we also classify stuff as mountain biking, it's non-motorized. It's non-motorized use. We go mountain biking every time we've done the Copper Harbor, which is one of the biggest destinations in the Midwest. Biking, I'm always running the summer biking on the trail.
Sure.
Nice.
Enough's been said, it's cool, good job.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mildren, seconded by Commissioner Corcoran to approve the resolution 016-010 establishing single-track mountain bike trails on Mount Zion. Roll call vote, please.
Semo.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Mildren.
Yes.
Bertha.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Item I, discuss and consider approval of resolution number 016-009, City of Ironwood Tier 1 service property.
All right, thank you. For this evening, adding a new property to the city's Tier 1 surplus property list. Recently, the city found out from a private owner through a title search and survey that a piece of property that the city owns kind of surrounded by private property. And on the map that's attached, south of the end of Scott Street, near the Metro area. So with that being said, it's about 1/10 of an acre, no use for the city, fits that definition of a Tier 1 surplus property. Brought this to the Parks Rec and Planning Commission for the resolution, which is required. They both those groups have recommended approval. So tonight we're seeking approval to add this property to the Tier 1 list with the intention of selling to the adjacent property.
I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution described in item I.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, seconded by Commissioner Tower to approve the resolution as described in item I. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Tower.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Mildren.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Bertha.
Yes, motion carries. Item J, discuss and consider approving bid to Great Escape Technologies in the amount of $11,991.59 for the public safety building security and access control system.
Request that we will approval for bids. We had two companies respond. So just kind of why we're looking to upgrade our system is our building is no longer manned 24 hours. There are multi-use facility, police agencies use our facilities. Our giant operates out of our facilities, so we needed to create an accountability system. So that was the main reason for looking to enhance our security on the building. It also provided accountability. These dollars are identified within the budget, so we're not going outside of our budget. In addition, our insurance allows us to write a RAP grant, which we pay 50% towards this amount. But we not write the grant until we have the system put in place. Higher approval rating on that, we feel very confident that we will receive a 50% match on this purchase. We had to move forward without the grant because we're at that point with our facility.
Who are you holding accountable and for what? That we need to spend $12,000 on this?
Anyone who comes into our building, a door may get popped open, so this will alarm, allow us to know if the door was left open, so if one of the local law enforcement agencies, a member of drive came into our facility, we would know who came into the building, it would notify us if the door is not closed properly. We've had doors left open at times. We have our accountability with our evidence rule. So it allows us to designate who will have access to certain parts of our facility, so it gives us that accountability. Also, we have the volunteer fire department members come into our garage, and it allows them to use a portion of our facility for their use. So it lets us know who's coming in and out of the building, and if the door was propped open, it will notify us via cell phone or email.
Is this adding a level of video surveillance there that we don't have now?
Yep, currently in our garage, we have no video surveillance, and that would just enhance our video surveillance. Our insurance company requested that we do 360 surveillance since nobody is in the building 24 hours a day. And this will just give us our coverage in the garage.
I'll make a motion, we approve the bid as described in item J.
Support. Motion by Commissioner Seymour, seconded by Commissioner Corcoran to approve the bid as described in item J. Any other questions, discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Mildren.
Yes.
Seymour.
Yes.
Tower.
No.
Virtual.
Yes. Motion carries with Commissioner Tower dissenting. Item K, Manager's Report.
All right, I'll just take the opportunity to go through a few of the things that are in the works. Again, with summer here, things are moving forward very quickly with our projects. With the upcoming Memorial Weekend, there's a number of activities going on around the area. Everything from our memorial event here at the building on Memorial Day to there's a John Jarvie race run walk on Saturday. That's in downtown Ironwood. It starts and ends at Lottie's lot over there, so everybody's welcome to partake in that. It's a fundraiser for the local cross-country team, so we try to get out and support them. And across the border, they're having an ATV rally. So again, a lot of activities going on. A lot of that spills over to Michigan, so it's nice to see all that activity coming up this weekend. You probably saw over the last few weeks, a lot of the houses coming down under our blight grant. We have called the hardest hit bike grant. It was up to $675,000. We have taken down 27 houses through various contracts over the last year and a half. I want to give staff a lot of credit. It's not an easy process to work through some of these state and federal grants, but they were very successful in getting those grants out, getting good bids, and having some of these blighted properties come down that we've talked about for many years. So again, all the properties into the grant are down right now, the 27. They're doing some final restoration, and hopefully that'll help each of those neighborhoods improve them just a little bit. We also are working on a SAW grant. We talked about that last year. That's our grant basically to evaluate our sanitary sewer system, and it started it's been going on for an excess of a year, and we're continuing this year. You'll see trucks around town. I think it's Green Bay Pipe and TV is the company, and they're out cleaning a lot of the sanitary sewer lines that have debris in them so that we can get our camera through and evaluate the piping systems all around town. Again, a lot of work was done last year. They'll continue with that work this year, and the televising cleaning should be done this year. The final product will probably be sometime early next year to get that out to us. And it's a whole computer system that we get from this that'll help us further maintain, and also is identifying a lot of issues that we'll have to attend to with our sewer system going forward. So you'll see that activity is currently underway, and that truck is all around town. We're also moving forward with the income survey. We talked about that at one of the previous meetings, and that is moving forward. We have retained Lake Superior State to do that, and they are out going, making contacts with residents, getting that information so that we can evaluate the overall income in the community, so that potentially going forward we'd be eligible again for some of the grants that are out there. We'll see how that shakes out. There's no guarantee on the results, but we'll see what happens with that. Just another project that's been on the radar. We haven't talked about it much recently, but the Aurora Land Survey. We had Coleman Engineering do a survey of that whole neighborhood. That survey has been complete. The plat has been submitted to the state for review. They're going back and forth on making some adjustments to that. Coleman will be out setting the property corners probably within the next month or so once the plat has been approved by the state, and get that project completed later this summer, and that is still, it's in the works. Item downtown, I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed on this. You probably saw in the newspaper here a month and a half ago, the Miners mural was hit by a snowplow. Someone that happened to be going by slid and hit the Miners mural. That's not essentially a city mural, but we are helping with the process of getting that restored. We've been in contact with their insurance company, the company that hit this, and we've gotten prices from the artist and also the company that put that up originally, Hoff Construction. As you see today, Hoff Construction came out and took off some of those panels. Those are going to be brought over to the artist. The artist will touch those up and be put back up. I don't have a time frame with the artist yet. They had some commitments before they could get to us, but we'll hopefully have that in place here for part of the summer season so people can, again, enjoy the mural downtown. But we just wanted to bring everybody up to speed on where that's at. And the company's insurance is going to pay for the cost of the repairs, just so everybody's aware of that. We brought this up here maybe 2 months ago or so. We were contacted, City of Ironwood was contacted by the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality. And I see I wrote that in a couple different ways here, so it's a DEQ basically. And they're working with the EPA, and you've probably heard of the Flint issues, water system down there. We don't have those issues, but they are doing random checks of communities to check how we do our testing, reporting, that type of thing. So they did pick Ironwood as the UP test community. We were selected for that, and we're fine with that. They did look at how we do our processing, our testing, and came back and basically verbally told us that everything's in line and we're doing a good job. So we want to relay that to you so you're aware of that. I know we talked about it a while back, and we got a good report card from the process that Bob and Jim out at the plant and our water crew is doing. So we want to give them credit for doing a good job and making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. You'll see over in Norrie the Phase 3 water and sewer project commencing. There's some street paving that's going to occur over there. Angelo Lupino is doing the paving. Rootsell Construction is doing the final restoration. So you'll see that activity picking up. We are also moving forward with our local street paving project. The City Commission did award that to Angelo Lupino for this year. It's a local street project where we do the pulverize and pave. If you've been out toward Norrie Park at all, that's where they started. Norrie Park Road is being pulverized as we speak, and then they'll follow up with paving. They'll do sections at a time. They won't go in and pulverize everything and then, try to get to the paving. They'll do a section and then pave it, a section and then pave it. So they're working out in the Norrie Park area. Norrie Park and then South Range Road will be the first two that they'll work on, and then move into the Norrie area, finish up the streets in the Norrie area, and then kind of work their way counterclockwise around the city. So you'll see that activity going on for a good part of the summer. The bike trail, if you see a lot of activity on it. We have 2.5 miles in town. Very well used. They're going to wear that bike trail out with bicycles and walkers. It's great to see it. The second phase is going forward. The project is into the DOT. I'm trying to see if Paul is here. I don't think there's been any changes. That's still out for bids for a June bid opening. June 3rd bid letting, so after June 3rd they should have a contractor identified. Then they go through a whole process, and you're talking a couple of weeks probably at least before they would, about a month before construction would start. So.
And then end of September as the current deadline, call of October 1st for completion of that project if all goes well.
So we just want to bring you up to speed on that. Another nice effort for the area, a regional effort that's moving forward. You see the library project still moving forward. Angelo Lupino's working on that. They're still doing the tuck point and working through that facelift project for the library. Windquist Electric is over in Curry Park doing electric upgrades. They've been over there the last week real heavily. Look pretty tough over there because they're trenching in all the electric lines. But they should get a lot of that done this week. And then XL Energy will be bringing in a new service feed for the new electric panels over there that'll upgrade the electric for the full hookups. So we're still a few weeks out on finalizing that project, but they are working on it very diligently. In Depot Park, you probably saw the big hole over in Depot Park. We've had a lot of speculation on what that is. A lot of different people, is it this, is it that? That is the location for the new playground equipment. And our Public Works crew did excavate that. They have footings in there. We are waiting for the equipment to be delivered. We expect it to be delivered any day.
It showed up about 3 o'clock.
Oh, it's here now? Excellent. So it's over in Coleman's parking lot. So that'll be set here starting next week, or actually next week, tomorrow probably, and they'll get that put in place. So a nice improvement again for the Depot Park area. And we have to promote Kiwanis Pancake Day. That's this Thursday. So it's down at the Golden Dragon Restaurant downtown. It's a big fundraiser for the Kiwanis efforts that they participate in, and they support all these projects that are going on. Essentially, they're everywhere. So we want to encourage people to go down on Thursday, stop in, buy a $7 ticket. You get a great plate of pancakes, some sausage, and support their efforts, because they do help out in just about everything we do in some way, shape, or form. So get down there on Thursday and support Kiwanis Pancake Day. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Scott. Item all other matters.
I guess I would just note that the Michigan Municipal League will be holding their UP Training Summit here June 9th and 10th. It's an opportunity for folks in the UP, as far as city managers, mayors, commissioners, and what have you, to get together. Some of the items that they'll talk about are municipal finance, the Open Meeting Act, comprehensive plans, UP energy. We're up to take some of our visitors through a downtown tour, kind of showcase some of our projects. So we'll be stopping at places like the library, the Pocket Park, Depot Park, Art Park, the Historical Theater, and down at the DAP. So just a chance for municipal folks to get together, find out what's going on in state government, and a chance to meet and talk about some of the things that are going on. So that'll be June 9th and 10th. And I just have a question, kind of maybe related to the smoking. Do we know if are there any state statutes up there that have no smoking within a certain area of a playground? I don't know if that's a Park and Rec question, or maybe Michael could look into it maybe for our next meeting.
Might be a Tim Dean question, if there's any statutes.
Okay.
I don't know how you would, is there a way to search that?
Yeah, there's no smoking law in Michigan. Generally prohibits smoking in public places, chiefly indoors.
Okay.
Plus food establishments. Nothing having to do with
Okay.
smoking next to
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
I would have a few items. One would be that on June 13th, my wife and I will be out of town, so I would request to miss that city commission meeting.
I'll make a motion that we excuse Commissioner Mildren from the June 13th meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Corcoran, seconded by Commissioner Seymour to excuse Commissioner Mildren from the June 13th City Commission meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You're welcome.
And then I'd like to state, that tonight we have a number of great projects going on, driven by volunteers, just like we've seen year in and year out. But one thing that our Ironwood Kiwanis has started this year, Ironwood Kiwanis is in our 90th year in Ironwood, and we're trying to get to all of the businesses around the range that have been in business for years and years, and supporting all of our efforts also. And like tonight here with the trails, we have the Hobby Wheel, one of the best bike shops in the whole Midwest, and we have Coleman Engineering, we have Classic Motor Inn as a wonderful supporter of activities that take place. But a really sad thing was that we lost Peter Powell at the Maplewood. And for all of the things that, his investment in Ironwood and all of the things that he did, I was thinking that it would be fitting tonight if we could pass a motion to send a letter of thanks and condolence to his family and thank him for everything that he's done. So I would make that motion.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Waldron and seconded by Commissioner Corcoran to send a letter of condolences to the family of Peter Palm and thanking them for their community support, past and all their community support. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Any other? Okay, moving on to item M, consider closed session to discuss contract negotiations with the Professional Police Association and AFSCME Local 1538 unions.
I'll make a motion, we go into closed session to discuss item M.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Corcoran, seconded by Commissioner Waldron to enter closed session to discuss